All right. For best results, utilize buyer's interview and buyer's broker agreement. Buyer broker's agreements are really an opportunity to really find that purchaser, okay, and certainly set up a mindset that they're working only with you. The buyer's interview, watch that video, and I go over 5 key points, okay, along these lines. So that gives you the same points that we covered right now. All right, all activities must tie back to what? 300 grand. Love it. All right, now, utilizing checklists for everything. Okay, what happens when a listing is taken? Don't raise your hand on this, but I just want you to think about it. How many people have a checklist that says, when I take a listing, these list of things happen? Let's say there's 27 things. I'm making that number up. These are the 27 things that have to happen when a listing is taken. If you do not have a checklist like that, one, you are making mistakes. You are missing opportunities. And remember, this checklist isn't only for procedural items. That's certainly part of it. But it's also for marketing items. What's the rule of thumb that you want to, when you take a listing, what's the rule of thumb of how many closings should come from a listing?
3.5.
Okay? Well, the minimum you want to shoot for is 1.5. And the goal, truthfully, if you're at 3.5, that's huge. The best we've seen is 3. Okay, just being honest. Not that it's not out there more at a greater number, but if you're getting 3 closings for every listing, so that lets you know, if you market it right and you have a plan of attack, and you take 10 listings in a year, that's 30 closings. If you manage that right, minimum, okay, it should be 15. Minimum, it should be 15. That's that 1.5 closings. So you get the closing of the listing you got, of course, and now you're creating another half to 2, okay, closings from that one deal. Clear on that? All right. So you need that checklist. Now, one more aspect of this. Let's say you're out, okay, or you have an assistant, or you're hiring an assistant, or you want help. Do you think it's going to be easier to train that person with the checklist or without? With the checklist. Guys, if you're saying, oh, I've got to go through and train someone else, I know you don't have a lot of things in writing, so it's starting over every time. Okay? That is a choice. And it's a bad business choice when you do things that way. Next, what happens when a listing sells? Another checklist. What happens when you meet a buyer? A checklist of what you do. Okay? You can have a checklist for the buyer's interview. So either you, one of your team associates, whatever it is, an assistant is helping you. They know what's supposed to happen, okay, with that buyer's interview. When you sell a buyer, same thing. What happens, this is a biggie, when a team member is hired? Or a staff person. Here's what should happen. Okay? Susie, here it is. Here are all the checklists that I do for my business. Plus I have a synopsis, specific synopsis, and job description for you to review. I want you to read over all this. I want you to make all the notes that you want. Tomorrow morning, we're going to go over all this information, okay, with you. But it's all here. All right, and by the way, the ones in red are all the classes that are taught at Prudential, okay, for you that you'll sign up for to give you all the information on the technology stuff, because I am not the person who's going to train you on that. Don't want to be, okay, don't care to be, but you need to get trained on that. And here's the classes to do, okay? Do you think that's an easier process than heckin' and peckin'? All right, let's sit down and go through. Hey, just come to me if you have a question. I need you to fill out this file. Can you go to management? Okay, Kathy, can you help in this? Oh, thank you, you're so great. Okay? You know, even though Kathy's smiling through that process, she hates you. Moving on, all right? We're wasting time. How many hours in a day for everybody? 24. 24. Don't choose to use those ineffectively, and not having checklists and making it easier for you. Guys, when you reduce how many times you have to think when an event happens, that's a good thing. Because I don't have to think. I just got to do these 27 things. You want to add something to the list or delete something to the list? Beautiful. Delete it or add it. But then all you have to do is go through a checklist every single time. The same thing. Remember? Clarity and consistency.